Lesson 34. Punctuation. Olaf, if I write, the castle which was built in the 13th century is one of the finest in Britain, ought I to put a comma after castle and after century? Mr. Priestley, yes. Hob, I never bother about commas. I don't see that they matter at all. Mr. Priestley, don't you, Hob? Let me tell you a little story. One day, as a teacher walked into his classroom, he heard Tommy Andrews whisper to the boy next to him, "Here's the teacher. I'll bet the silly donkey is going to talk about putting in commas." The teacher didn't say anything, but he began to talk about putting in commas, and explained how important they could be. To show what he meant, he wrote on the blackboard the sentence, "Tommy Andrews says the teacher is a silly donkey." The class laughed and Tommy Andrews looked very red. "Now," said the teacher, "I will show you how important commas are." He put 2 commas into the sentence, and it now read, "Tommy Andrews, says the teacher, is a silly donkey." Pedro, I like the story about the barber who put a notice outside his shop. What do you think? I shave you for nothing. And give you a drink. Of course he soon had his shop full of men all expecting to be shaved for nothing and then given a glass of beer. But the barber explained that that wasn't what he meant. A little punctuation made all the difference, for the notice then read, "What? Do you think I shave you for nothing? And give you a drink?" Mr. Priestley, punctuation can often say quite a lot. There is a story of the great French novelist, Victor Hugo. When his first book was published, he wondered if it had been a success, so he sent a postcard to his publisher with just a question mark on it. The publisher's reply was equally short. It was an exclamation mark. Lucille, my favorite punctuation story is about the wife of a man who had just joined the Navy during the war, and, on Sunday, his wife handed a little note to the parson which read, "Peter Smith having gone to see his wife would like your prayers for his safety." She had forgotten to put in the comma after the word see, and the parson, without thinking, read, "Peter Smith having gone to see his wife would like your prayers for his safety." Mr. Priestley, well, Hob, do you still think that commas don't matter? Jan, could you please give us a lesson on the rules of punctuation? There are a lot of things about punctuation that I am not sure about. Mr. Priestley, I think the following points might be useful. Many of the most commonly used punctuation marks are illustrated in the examples I have just given you. These are quotation marks or inverted commas, used to show direct speech, the exclamation mark. Used after an interjection or expression of strong feeling, the question mark. Used after a direct question, but not after an indirect one, the comma, and the full stop. The full stop, the semicolon, and the comma are generally used to show the pause that you would make in speaking the words. The full stop marks the longest pause, the comma, the shortest pause, the semicolon marks a longer pause than the comma. The full stop is used 1. At the end of all sentences except questions and exclamations, e.g., "He needs your help." Statement. Help him. Command. Will you help him? Question. He cried, "Help! Help!" Exclamation. 2. After abbreviations such as MA equals Master of Arts, HMS. Valiant equals Her Majesty's Ship Valiant, USA. Equals United States of America, e.g., equals Exemplia Grazia, Latin, equals for example, etc. The colon is used 1. To separate sentences of which the second explains more fully the meaning of the first. It often means the same as, that is to say, e.g., Richard's work is unsatisfactory, his answers are thoughtless, his spelling is careless and his writing is bad. 2. To introduce a number of items in a list, e.g., some commonly used punctuation marks are full stop, colon, semicolon, and comma. The semicolon is useful when we need a longer pause than is indicated by a comma, but when we don't want to break the line of thought, as would happen if we used a full stop. It is used 1. To separate sentences, especially when a conjunction is not used, e.g. Your appearance pleased my friend, then it delighted me. I have watched your behavior in strange circumstances, I have studied how you played and how you bore your losses. Lastly, I have asked you to do a most dangerous thing, and you received it like an invitation to dinner. R. L. Stevenson. Note how, in this example, shorter pauses are shown by the commas. 2. With words like so, therefore, however, nevertheless, besides, then, otherwise. These words join sentences but are stronger than mere conjunctions like and or but, and so need a stronger punctuation mark. Here are some examples. Do the work well, then I will pay you. You must take more exercise, otherwise you will get too fat. Richard didn't work hard, so he didn't pass his examination. The comma is the most frequently used punctuation mark and has many uses. Your common sense and the desire to make your meaning clear will often tell you where you want to make a pause, but the following rules, though they don't cover all the uses, may be helpful. A comma is generally used 1. To record a list of objects, etc., e.g. At the party we had cakes, jellies, ices, biscuits, chocolate and lemonade. 2. To mark off direct speech. Tell me, he said, how you know all that. The man replied, I heard it on the radio. 3. To mark off sentences or clauses where a pause is needed in reading. This is almost always the case if the clause is an adverb 1, e.g. Although it was foggy, we played the match. I have explained this work to Richard, but he still doesn't understand it. If you will help me, I will help you. John, who is in our class, has won a scholarship. 4. To mark off words used in addressing a person, e.g. George, tell Richard the answer to the question. I hope, sir, my answer is right. 5. To mark off words or phrases like however, therefore, of course, for instance, etc. You know, of course, what a gerund is, I needn't, therefore, explain it now. 6. In descriptive titles such as Elizabeth II, Queen of Great Britain was born in 1926. I saw Mr. Smith, your teacher, this morning. 7. To mark off phrases containing a participle when a pause is required in reading. George, seeing that his brother was hurt, ran to help him. Remembering how fond you are of fruit, I've brought you some apples from our garden. Exercise. Rewrite the following stories, and put in the punctuation. 1. The following was written on the gravestone of an army mule. Here lies Maggie the mule who in her time kicked a general, 2 colonels, 4 majors, 10 captains, 24 lieutenants, 40 sergeants, 220 privates and a bomb. 2. I can't understand it, said M.R. Williams. Oh, what can't you understand, said his friend. Well, said M.R. Williams, just look at this suit I'm wearing. The wool was grown in Australia, the cloth was woven in Yorkshire, the buttons were made in India, the suit was made in London, and I bought it in Cairo. What's so remarkable about that, asked his friend. Isn't it wonderful, said Williams, taking no notice of the interruption, that so many people can make a living out of something I haven't paid for. 3. A very agitated woman rang up her doctor and a servant answered the phone. Can I speak to Dr. Russell? She said. It's urgent. I'm sorry, madam, the doctor is out. Will you leave a message? Oh dear, my 10-year-old little boy has swallowed a fountain pen. When will the doctor be in? I'm afraid, madam, he won't be in for 2 hours, perhaps 3 hours. 3 hours, cried the woman. What shall I do in the meantime? I'm afraid, madam, you'll have to use a pencil. 4. The Mayfair Club for Noblemen and Gentlemen was famous. One day a member who had lost his umbrella there went to the secretary and asked him to put up a notice which read, will the nobleman who took an umbrella that did not belong to him please return it at once? But why nobleman? asked the surprised secretary. Well, was the answer, this is a club for noblemen and gentlemen, and the person who took my umbrella was certainly no gentleman. Dear friends, thank you for watching our channel and learning English with us. Subscribe. And we wish you great luck in achieving your goals.